Pepperidge Farm claims that their classic cheddar cheese goldfish flavor is made with 100% real cheese, and they advertise this on every side of their 27-ounce box. The Pepperidge Farm organization as a whole makes over 200 billion crackers annually. This is important to know because the classic cheddar cheese goldfish cracker is their most popular flavor. With that in mind, it makes sense that this flavor is produced the most. But how much exactly? Unfortunately, I could not find this number out. But it wouldn't be unrealistic to assume that at least a few billion of those crackers are the cheddar cheese flavor. That amounts to a lot of cheese. Which the question comes, where are they getting all of this cheese? Where are all the cows that they're milking? And better yet, who's supplying Pepperidge Farm with all of this cheese? With these questions running through my mind, I got on the phone with Pepperidge Farm and I asked who their supplier was for all of the cheese. And when I asked this question, I was put on hold twice. And then all of a sudden, the call ended. So I called back again and got in contact with the same person, and they told me that they had the information. They then read off some script and never told me who their supplier was. They did, however, tell me that their cheese was vegan friendly, and I was confused, so I asked how it could be vegan friendly if it's made with real cheese. And then they told me that their cheese was a microbial enzyme-based cheese. So this explains how they'd be getting the amount of cheese at the rate that they would need. No one is behind the scenes milking a bunch of cows so Pepperidge Farm can get the cheese that they need. When I was told this, I was actually so surprised that I called back the next day just to make sure that everything that I heard was correct. I talked to a different person who also put me on hold, but they still didn't mention who their supplier was. Before the call ended though, I asked about the milk because that's one of the ingredients in the cracker. So I asked if the milk was a microbial based milk, and then they said it didn't say anything about milk. And then they asked if there's anything else that they could do for me. And that was the call that I had with Pepperidge Farm. But for those who don't know, microbial-based cheese cannot coagulate or harden on its own. They actually have to feed the microbial enzyme so it can harden. And what do they feed the microbial-based cheese? Genetically modified soy. And the opposite is true with animal enzymes. With animal enzymes, they can actually harden on their own. And by the way, if you don't know, genetically modified soy is where its DNA is genetically altered to be more resilient to the herbicides that they spray or the pesticides that they spray on all of the crops. Which, by the way, food manufacturers don't have to list all of the herbicides or chemicals that they spray on the crops, which get into our foods that we've been consuming for years. So comment down below if you think food companies should start being required to list herbicides on the boxes of our food labels, as well as our produce, because there's no labels on our produce, and a large amount of our produce are being, if not all of them, are being sprayed with all these chemicals. So whether you think microbial-based cheese is real cheese or not, if you've been eating goldfish, you've been consuming traces of herbicide or pesticide and genetically modified soy, but goldfish real cheese is 100% microbial-based, DNA-altered, genetically modified soy cheese. And speaking of soy, check out this video that I made on mayonnaise right here. I think you'll find it very interesting.